All right, week 2.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go NFL.
We up to bat.
Week 2.
We up to bat.
Tyler's a little out of his mind right now, but
I'm ready for all questions. Let's go. Throw them in the chat.
Throw all your fantasy football
These
questions.
About to be a home run. Let's go,
in the
baby.
chat. We are going to play softball in a little bit here before the game starts.
I'm ready. Put the questions in there.
But anyways, we'll get some people in the chat. Answer all your fantasy football questions. What players you're watching out for today? What you're excited for today? I have no idea what's happening right now. Throw all your fantasy football questions in the chat. All right. Going through a quick injury report. Aaron Jones likely out and Christian Watson likely out. I actually do like putting A.J. Dillon in.
I was just gonna ask you how you feel about A.J. Dillon. I'm not a big A.J. Dillon guy, but I feel
if you have Aaron Jones, if you played it right and have his handcuff, I think that's a good play to swap in for this week.
I agree. Yeah, I think you can get away with playing him for sure. He's gonna get carries.
Christian Watson again, this guy will not get on the field this season. Christian Watson's still out with that hamstring injury. The rest of the receivers looked pretty good last week. So Jaden Reed breakout.
I'm really hoping it's this week. But Dubs, he's impressing me every single week that I see him play. So I think Dubs is going to slowly start to creep up in that wide receiver one in that offense.
Yeah. I mean, the more that Romeo Doubs is on the field and Christian Watson isn't on the field, it makes me
pickle back here.
Yeah. It makes me think more and more that Christian Watson is going to lose out on that wide receiver one position on that offense because he's not on the field. Doubs is gaining that chemistry. All right, Zach Moss is back. So the Colts finally have a legitimate running back on their roster. Zach Moss is like a very low end flex for me at best, though. This week.
I don't want to play him. Like, if you absolutely have to, sure, that's probably a good risky move. But if you have any other option, do that. Obviously a running back coming into an offense for the first time that soon probably isn't going to be adapted to the playbook and whatnot, but. Also, I just don't want a Colts running back for the foreseeable future, obviously, until Jonathan Taylor comes back.
Yeah. Austin Eckler, also out, your boy. Joshua Kelly, he can be a plug and play this week, but I think you said the Titans defense.
Yeah, Titans defense is nice. I think he's a great player, and you want him, if you have him, he's a great player to have this season. You're definitely going to find spots, but I don't know if this week's that week.
And D-Hop is supposed to play. I actually am just low on D-Hop in general this season, to be honest with you. I think he's a flex play as well, but they're going to want to get him involved in this offense. I think this is the week they might force it to him. Not force it to him, but make sure he's more central part of that offense. But I still think he's a flex play.
But that's my thing is at this point, can you even trust Tannehill to get him the ball in any fashion? And I think you can confidently say yes at this point.
I do okay. Malik Willis was apparently not even going to make the close to not making the roster this season. And then you got
and Will Levis. What happened there? He's the wide receiver or QB3 there. They say Malik Willis is the
but I think either of them can't as bad as Ryan Tannehill is.
They can't be that bad.
I don't know. I think they're even worse. I think they have to play Ryan Tannehill the whole season.
But that's the thing is at that point it's you're not winning anyway. So
yeah, if they're not winning, they're gonna have to put someone else in there.
They probably decided to. They're okay, neither of these guys are our QBs of the future, but we obviously might as well hold on to them at this point.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think they probably hope Will Levis is. I don't know.
If you're a Titans fan, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you've had a brutal last few years since they made the playoffs that one year. And we're the 1 seed. It's been a steep drop off.
Yeah, it's been tough. They never really did anything in the playoffs anyways. Okay, Puka Nacua. I don't have any update on him, but he's just questionable.
What time is that game at?
That game. Let
me see. I need to get on the Wi-Fi is what I need to do.
Get on the Wi-Fi. Get on the Wi-Fi right now. Rams. That's a 4:00 game.
Yeah, I don't.
To be honest with you, I'm just against the 49ers defense. I really would not be big on Puka Nacua this week anyways.
Here's a name that's been popular this week. Are you starting Puka Nacua or Nico Collins?
This week I'm starting Nico Collins.
Yeah, me too.
100%.
I think for the full
the
season,
hype on Puka Nacua is insane.
Yeah.
With the 49ers defense being as good as it is, and Puka Nacua, like, even if he looks good this season throughout the season, it's going to be an up and down season for that offense. And this is one of those games that is just not going to look good against the Rams or against the 49ers.
Yeah, that I don't know how they won last week, honestly. Like, that's not going to be a consistent thing.
I have no idea. And then the Texans play the Colts, and I have more faith in that offense looking a little better against the Colts, even though CJ Stroud was injured too, but I don't think he's on an injury report right now.
Yeah, he was questionable, or he was limited at practice or something.
Yeah, expected to play week 2. So CJ Stroud.
That's what we've been seeing a lot of the first 2 weeks is players who like they'll be out for routine like icing or like stretching, and then like they'll be listed as questionable. So it's like I feel like there hasn't necessarily been more injuries, but like you've just seen way more on the injury report, which as a fantasy manager is a pain to deal with. But also like from the other standpoint, like I'm glad that they're like not actually as injured as they are.
Yeah. Just saying right now, just letting everybody know to throw all fantasy football questions in the chat, start sits, anything like that.
What did the one dude say? He said Nico Collins.
Yeah. I'll pull it up right now. He said he was stressing. He said he was stressing. DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, or Nico Collins.
You know, those are 3 receivers that I'm actually like, you could go any direction and you could defend it. But I do think DJ Moore is the highest ceiling out of the 3.
Yeah, I like DJ Moore out of those.
I think Nico Collins is the safest of the 3. I think Nico Collins is going to get you.
But is he much safer than DJ Moore with that offense, though? Both offenses are kind of – I guess he is.
I think Nico Collins from week to week is going to get 5 to 8 receptions consistently, and how effective he is as a starter is going to come down to if he gets in that.
I will say CJ Stroud comes into the NFL as a better passer than Justin Fields, actually.
Yeah, that Bears offense last week was
awful. It really was. AJ Dillon, this is a good one. AJ Dillon or James Cook?
AJ Dillon or James Cook, man. I think I'm going to AJ Dillon just based off.
He's going to have they're going to run the ball. Like they're going to use AJ Dillon as a true like RB1. They're going to run the ball. He's probably going to score a touchdown. I throw money on the anytime touchdown scorer.
Dak throws 3 picks today, but Pollard goes berserk. Agree. If Pollard goes berserk, my take of Pollard not being very good this year is not going to look great. But Dak could very well throw 3. I think Zach Wilson could throw
3 picks.
If Dak throws 3, Zach Wilson's probably throwing like 5 or 6. If we're being honest.
For true. All right, I'm gonna go through right now, and what do we think about Kenny Pickett today?
I think it's going to be a run-heavy game from that offense. I think
Najee Harris is a play. Najee Harris is a play. Yeah, I think Najee Harris actually was efficient last week, but I think he had like 4 touches. I'm gonna look at it right now. He had 6 carries for 31 yards, and he had 2 receptions. They just didn't run the ball at all. But he was the lead back.
Yeah, he had 6 carries.
Yeah.
But yes, we do agree. Cowboys defense is most definitely the play.
I'm gonna look their backup. I'm blanking on his name right now.
James Washington.
Yeah, James Washington. He did not get many touches at all.
No,
even though neither did Najee. But
what I've seen a lot of in the fantasy community is people talking about like snap count compared to touches. Like people will be all over a snap count. It's like someone has like 50-50 snap count, but if someone has all the touches,
Jaylen Warren, that's who it is.
Jaylen Warren. Yeah, who's James Washington was a receiver or something. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. But touches is all that matters. I don't care if your guy's on the field every single time. Like Kyle Pitts, for example, he's just running cardio out there at this point. You need players who are going to get the ball.
Yeah, he's on the all-time. He's on the, what did I say the other day? All cardio team. Players on the all cardio team. You do not want to draft or roster players on the all cardio team, which means they're running a lot of routes and they are not getting targeted.
Yeah, they're literally just running around.
They're just running around out there.
Like you see them out there, but they're just running around.
We had another one asked to us the other day. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I think we had another one. Nah, maybe not. All right. Well, I'm gonna go through some random players here, see what I would do here. Would you start James Cook or Kenneth Walker?
Kenneth Walker. Well, here's no. Man, what was that?
I kind of like by the way, I think Gabe Davis is a low end flex this week. I kind of like Gabe Davis. He's the clear-cut wide receiver 2 in that offense that looked bad last week. I do not expect them to look as bad as they looked last week. I think Gabe Davis has clear opportunities in that offense. I think he's the clear number 2 target on that offense.
Now, here's a question. Brandon Ayuk, where do you rank him in your dynasty wide receivers right now? He might be top 15.
Dude,
I think
maybe this is an overreaction to week 1, but like I'm almost ready to put him into that top 10. I mean, we were big on him coming into the season already, and we knew that he was the wide receiver 1 on that team. Deebo Samuel was never a play for us. I'm almost ready to bring him into that top 10.
He's elite. I think he's if you're in a league, in a dynasty league where you can somehow get Brandon Ayuk for like Drake London or even like Jerry Jeudy type of play, like do that now. Like I don't know if you do that with Jerry Jeudy the second, but like Ayuk, someone who I would be trying to buy as much stock of.
Oh yeah, 100%. Ayuk is the real deal. Like the week 1 was not a fluke. I mean, he's not necessarily going to do that good every week, but buy Brandon Ayuk. Noah, appreciate you. Half PPR, start Flowers, Moss, or Javonte Williams. That's Flowers for me.
Yeah, I'm going Flowers. Javonte Williams, I like
Javonte Williams too, but
he was very promising coming back. Like I feel great if I'm a Javonte Williams owner, but I think Zay Flowers is just an every week starter at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Zay Flowers is like the center of that offense. We saw it. That's like he is the best wide receiver on that team.
Which team do you like better this week? Full PPR.
By the way, feel free to hit that subscribe button. We'll be doing this every Sunday, asking all your fantasy football questions.
I think I like the first team 1 better in that situation. Pollard, I think he's someone who he's a consistent guy.
Richardson, Pollard, James Cook,
you got Diggs. Michael Thomas was impressive, which was surprising. Obviously Andrews is there. Jeudy, he scares me a little bit, especially early on this year.
Yeah, I mean CMC could be like a league winner,
that's the difference maker right there. I'm not huge on Dameon Pierce. Dak I'm not big on this week. I'm starting him, unfortunately, so it is what it is. And same with McLaurin, he scares me. Just a lot of risk on team 2 there.
What's up, Chris? Yeah, we okay, here we go. Richardson, Pittman.
Should I play Richardson, Pittman, or Lawrence and DJ Moore?
Well, is it all 4 of those?
So are you saying it's like you have to start 2 of those? I mean, between those 2, like comparing them, I'm like DJ Moore and Trevor Lawrence better than Richardson and Pittman. Probably in both. Like if you're picking a receiver, I like DJ
If you just
Moore
want to stack, if you want to stack in general, like, or I mean,
I like Lawrence.
Yeah, I don't think Richardson and Pittman. I liked Richardson and I liked him coming out, and he looked a lot better. I thought that he was gonna early in the season. They're gonna have to run him. They're gonna have to use him as a rushing quarterback, not really pass the ball a lot. He looked good passing the ball last week.
I think that might be an anomaly, though. I don't think they're gonna want him throwing that much.
Yeah,
especially this early.
He's still raw. He's still learning for sure.
But regardless, I like both DJ Moore and Trevor Lawrence better than Richardson and Pittman.
The Jaguars might beat the Chiefs today. Like
Jaguars,
there's a chance.
Could be one of the best teams in the. They might be the best team in the AFC by the end of the year.
By the end of the week, if they beat the Chiefs today, everybody's going to be agreeing with that
Chiefs
statement.
going to be panicking if they lose with Travis Kelce back.
Yeah. But Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback. I really believe that. I'm not ready to put him into my top 5 in the NFL or in fantasy at that point, but people are easily going to be doing that if he beats Patrick Mahomes.
I think Trevor Lawrence is great, but also I think Calvin Ridley is that dude, and I think Travis Etienne is that dude as well. And he was someone who a lot of people had question marks about, and at this point now, the way the fantasy community talks about him, he's like one of the for sure top 10 running backs.
Yeah, for sure.
He showed he's the bell cow.
I got one: Christian Kirk or Tyler Lockett.
Christian Kirk. Ooh. Those are two players that's I think I'm going to go Christian
Both of them weren't that good last week.
I'm going to go Christian Kirk. I feel like consistently throughout their careers. So at this point, both, like you said, both of them didn't do well last week. So I'm going to go to their careers.
Dude, Tyler Lockett has been really consistent in his career too.
He's one of those guys though, who it's for the week to week where it's 1 week he'll have 15, 19 points. And then the next week he'll have 1. And then it's 22, 4. And it's so up and down. I'm going to go Christian Kirk. I think Christian Kirk is a very talented player. And I really do hope he does.
I really hope that he's still a big part of that offense, regardless of Calvin Ridley being there. That was not the case last week. But I do think Christian Kirk is going to be – his over-under in passing receiving yards is 38.5 this week. That's not anything crazy. He could easily have 38.5 yards this week. And I'm hitting that over, by the way, too. So I like Christian Kirk. I think he's going to be a consistent player this year. He showed it the thing for me is that, 2 years ago when he was on the Cardinals and he became the wide receiver 1 there when D-Hop was suspended, he showed it then, too. This isn't last year was a fluke or anything like that.
No, he's been good for 2-3 years now. I do like him. And we will say we have a softball game coming up. So any questions, get them in the chat now. We want to answer them all, but we do have to leave relatively shortly. But
unfortunately, we'll be back for football. We got 2 TVs set up. We'll have Red Zone. Red Zone's getting the main TV today.
I think it has to. We know Eagles.
The Birds played on Thursday. The Eagles played on Thursday. So Red Zone's getting the main TV today. And then we get the second TV up as well.
What we're going to start doing in our weekly breakdowns, we're going to be giving out prop bets that we like. We think fantasy football and prop bets go hand in hand there. So obviously we are not telling you to take these, but just ones that we think are interesting lines to look at. And you have to make the move, the best decision that you want to make. But ones that we talked about in the last episode, Waddle over 61.5. These are also starter sit-ems. Obviously, you're starting Waddle every single time.
Yeah.
But I do think Waddle's going to have a monster comeback week. I think Tyreek's going to get double teamed. I think Tyreek could hit his over too, but I think that offense is just going to look really good, and I think Waddle goes crazy. Dotson over 41.5. I think Dotson's someone I feel comfortable starting in all formats.
He was relatively quiet last week, but he was the go-to target for Sam Howell. I think
he's Sam Howell's number 1 wide receiver at this point. I think also Terry McLaurin. I don't feel comfortable starting Terry McLaurin this week. I think that if you have him, there's probably a lot of situations where you do play him. But I also, if I have other options, I might be looking there. But Dotson over 41.5. Bijan Robinson over 55 rushing yards. He's as good as advertised. It's just going to matter of how many times he gets the ball. But he's also a player who, just from watching week 1, anytime he touches it, he has the opportunity to
You start Terry McLaurin or Jerry Jeudy?
I think I'm going Terry McLaurin because I know he is going to play the whole time. Jerry Jeudy, I think he's on a
he might be. He's coming off of injury. Supposed to be good to go.
Who's going to arguably be one of the best running backs.
I think he practiced all week. So Jerry Jeudy could be pretty healthy at this point.
I mean, he's talented. It's he had some ugly drops in his career, but the separation he gets is wild.
When he's on the field, he can look pretty good. You go Garrett Wilson. I start Garrett Wilson regardless if you have Garrett Wilson, by the way. Don't panic on Garrett Wilson.
This is a tough matchup, though.
All right. You go Garrett Wilson or DK Metcalf?
See who Seattle got this week?
Detroit.
This is going to be my hot take of the week. I'm going DK Metcalf there. Garrett Wilson.
If that was your flex opportunity, you just aren't playing Garrett Wilson. That's tough for me. You know what I mean? Most people probably I
think you have the opportunity to play both of them.
Yeah, most people would probably.
But I'll put it this way: I'm not benching Garrett Wilson. but I am ranking DK Metcalf higher than Garrett Wilson.
But you said there's basically a chance for him to score like less than 10 fantasy points this week.
I think there's a very real chance he scores less than 10 fantasy points.
I mean, listen, that Cowboys defense is very good. I still think Garrett Wilson, I think you don't panic on Garrett Wilson. I think you let that ride for this week, couple more weeks. He's going to show how talented he is. If you want to sell him at that point, his value did drop a little bit. But
well, Dynasty, you're holding him. Please get that.
Yes.
Dynasty,
you're
are
holding him.
100%.
100%.
Redraft.
He's still a top 10 Dynasty wide receiver.
This year, he took I think he took a substantial hit to his value for this current year. So redraft leagues, I think I'm hoping he has a big week in the next couple of weeks and maybe trying to flip him for something good. But I do think without Aaron Rodgers, his value takes a huge hit, which sounds obvious saying that. But
What happens when you're reactionary is if it were to, on Monday night or whatever it was, that the Aaron Rodgers got injured, and the next day you're trying to ship off Garrett Wilson, everybody's immediate thought, like, yeah, of course you're trying to sell him. Aaron Rodgers just went down. His value is depleted. Like, that's everyone's immediate thought. So if you let that breathe for a little bit and you let Garrett Wilson still put up some fancy points for a week or two and then try to trade him, like, his value is not what it was when it started the season, but it's like people aren't trading with emotions and aren't immediately thinking this is, Aaron Rodgers and you're panic trading right now and you'll get some good value from him. Realistically, you should get good value from him. This should not be you're trading for any sort of bench player or anything like that.
You should be getting at least an RB2 wide receiver 2 level player.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
If not one, wide receiver 1, running back 1 level player, depending on how he does it in the next couple of weeks.
All right. So a lot of times these lives will be maybe a little bit longer. We'll be able to answer some more questions, but we do have to go play softball before these NFL games start. So happy week 2, everybody.
You can tweet at us. The game's over at 12, so there will be about an hour in there. So tweet at us. We'll answer everything that you want in there too at DBD Fantasy Football.
At DBD Fantasy FB on Twitter. At DBD Fantasy FB. Appreciate everyone for asking all these questions, and happy week 2.
Let's go.